All right, now let's demonstrate what happens when the firm goes to even a higher level of debt. This wasn't part of the question I asked you, but I thought I would demonstrate what potentially could happen as firms increase the amount of debt that they have, okay? So let's look at this example. Here I'm saying is that the debt to capital ratio goes to 0.7, and we're going to talk, and that would mean that the bond price now is 88% of the face value, and the beta would be 1.5. All right, so what do we need to the cost of debt? KD is equal. All right, we go back to our Excel spreadsheet, and now if the debt to capital ratio goes to 0.7, the price of the bond drops to 88, and now the yield to maturity of the required rate of return to debt is 7.96%. So let's put in our 7.96%. 7.96%. What would happen to cost of equity? Case of B, risk-free rate of return would stay the same at 5%. Beta is now 1.50. The market risk premium is 6%. So that is 14%. So what would the weighted average cost of capital be at a debt to capital ratio equal to 0.7? Well, basically it would be, as we had before, KD times 1 minus the tax rate, which is the after-tax cost of debt, times the debt to capital ratio, plus K sub E times 1 minus the debt to capital ratio, which is just equity to capital ratio. So it would be 7.96% times 1 minus 0.35, the tax rate, times the debt to capital ratio of 0.7. K sub E is 14%, and times 1 minus the debt to capital ratio of 0.3. So this would wind up being 7.82%. Okay, it's gone up. All right, so basically what do we have? Well, let's put up here debt to capital ratio, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. Estimate of the weighted average cost of capital here was 7.81%. This was equal to 7.7%, and this is 7.82%. So the whole notion here is that basically if we think about the relationship between weighted average cost of capital and the debt to capital ratio is if I put over a weighted average cost of capital and debt to capital ratio going up, it tends to go down as we saw and then starts to go up. And this would be sort of the point at which the weighted average cost of capital is the lowest. So this would be the lowest weighted average cost of capital. And if it's the lowest weighted average cost of capital, it's also the point at which the max value of the firm